7th, 2025.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And boy, that rain came down so heavy last night. At times, it sounded like hail.
Yes.
On the windows.
And with this type of rain, when it comes to flooding, there's usually two main culprits. One is a several-day-long event or multi-day-long rain event, or these slow-moving thunderstorms. And now is the case yesterday, which caused this flooding. And matter of fact, if you look at some of these closures before we head out into that forecast this morning, this is Steuben Hill Road in Herkimer, mud and rocks just flowing down the hill, not far from the intersection of South Carolina and Mohawk in Herkimer. Several cars were stuck in this area as floodwaters rose. On some streets, a couple of feet of water quickly built up and had homes and businesses dealing with this. The very busy State Route 5 between Caroline Street and the village of Herkimer, all the way down to Railroad Street in the town of Frankfort, remains closed.
And not far from there in Mohawk, this is East Main Street in front of the Mohawk Antique Mall. State Route 5S was closed, but we're told from an employee who actually works here, he actually drove Route 5S this morning, so that is back open. Also, State Route 168 in the village of Mohawk between State Route 28 and 167 is closed.
And in Utica, take a look at this on the parkway. Here's why you have to pay attention to the downpours. You can see here, look at that car braking suddenly as that road again was closed. The parkway again appears to be back open this morning, but again, between Pleasant Street, Elm Streets and Mohawk Streets because of flooding concerns. You're reminded this morning, if you see a flood-covered roadway, do not drive through them. You don't know how deep the water is below it, and that's the biggest concern when it comes to flooding.
And you were mentioning even more rain this morning, right?
Yes, more rain arrives today. However, thankfully, it's not going to be nearly as heavy, but still we have to keep a very close eye on those area creeks and streams. In fact, a look at some of them early this morning. We'll first take out a look at West Canada Creek at Hinckley Reservoir. The flood stage is at 1,226 feet, and we're currently sitting at 1,225 feet. So it is expected to continue to rise, but it's expected to remain below flood stage, which is the good news for that. Usually these dams, because of how much water there is, it usually takes a while for the water to slowly rise. However, one thing else to mention too, West Canada Creek at Cass Bridge, it is currently sitting at 5.3 feet. It has crested, it's falling now. It crested at 5.78 feet last night. So the good news on that front is the water levels in West Canada Creek are falling. Still though, as Gary mentioned, we got more rain on the way. It's dry here in Utica and parts of the Mohawk Valley. We zoom out. Here is the quote-unquote eye of the rainstorm as this moves its way east. Yesterday we got the south end of it. Today we're getting the west end of it. And so today we're tracking more rain. However, will this be the end or will there be more later on this week? The details coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. Starting today, the whole
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning, everyone. Time now is 5:12, and as you head out today, just a heads up, some roads could be closed depending on what direction you're headed. Main concerns will be in parts of the Mohawk Valley. So let's first take a look at some area roadways. And one thing to mention too, Route 5 in Herkimer, parts of that is actually closed this morning. In fact, let's take a look right here on our traffic tracker. We zoom in into the Mohawk Valley. First off, just south of Herkimer, the road is blocked from Paynes Hollow, Route 168, both ways between Columbia Street and 167 right here. And this was due to a washout from that flooding. And then as we head it down into the Ilion, Herkimer, Frankfort area, you can see here, road blocked on Route 5, both ways from Railroad Street to Route 51, and that, of course, again, is due to flooding. But a reminder, Route 5S is open at this hour, so if you have to travel from the Mohawk Valley east or west, or from Utica into the Mohawk Valley, to take 5S at this time, as Route 5 is still closed at this hour. Either way, radar right now still looking dry for much of our area locally, maybe areas of patchy drizzle, but again, this rain moves in from the west. This will bring rain showers throughout the morning and afternoon, but we do gradually dry out as we head into this evening. Gary?
Eric, thanks. In his Oval Office meeting with the newly...
The Oneonta Cam is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, guys. We continue to keep a close eye on flooding concerns across our area. Matter of fact, I want to share with you guys some videos and photos submitted to us into social media over the past day or so. This was taken on Steuben Hill Road in Herkimer. This is why it was closed. This is almost a complete washout with almost pretty much a river of water going over the roadway right there. This is sent in by Cheryl. Our second photo is of Route 5 on next to German Street in Herkimer. You can see the flooded roadway right there as well. And then thirdly, this was right on Mohawk Street in Herkimer. This has since subsided, but still just giving you a heads up at how deep some of this water was and how heavy that sustained rain was. This is taken by Dixie. And again, when it comes to flooded roadways, a reminder, just do not drive into them. You don't know how deep that water is, and most fatalities or most injuries from water or from flooding are from people who drive into those flood-prone areas or the flooded waters. Either way, we still have a flood watch in effect for Lewis, Oneida, and Madison counties right now. The flooding concern continues to decrease over the next few hours as the rain that's expected to arrive will not be nearly as intense, but still, the soil is extremely saturated. We've had several days straight of rain, and adding more sustained rainfall is not something you really want in this type of situation. But here we are, live with the radar, rainfall moving in from the west. Here is that eye of that storm, as you can see right here, as it continues to shift its way into the Mohawk Valley over the next few hours. So the start of the day today is going to be a bit rainy, with on and off moderate to potentially heavy rainfall at times. And that rainfall will gradually weaken and end as we head into the evening and overnight. But as we approach Friday, we still have more rain expected to move in. So let's look at the skycast here. Today, rain showers, the morning, early afternoon, a few areas of patchy drizzle by the evening. Tomorrow, well, I can't say it's entirely dry, but most we might see is a few nuisance sprinkles. Any sustained heavy rainfall really is non-existent. But by Thursday night into Friday, here comes that secondary round of rain, and this will be from that low pressure, a separate low pressure system that moves in. And you can see here, widespread moderate rainfall across the board. So we're not done with rainfall just yet. And I'm going to go back here because I did have a graphic I want to show you guys about the rainfall expected over the next few days with rainfall totals here. And this includes pretty much today and into eventually Friday. We have this rainfall for today, and as we head into Friday here, we can see this rainfall total increased about an inch in some spots, approaching an inch and a half near Morrisville. And so just a heads up, we're keeping a close eye on these area creeks and streams. And beyond that, as we head into the next couple of days, by eventually Saturday, hopefully things dry out, and then by Mother's Day, sunshine. Summertime arrives next week with upper 70s pushing 80 and dry weather. So let's just hope on that.
Yeah, a lot of cleanup to be done today.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:22. Taking a look at your top stories this morning. This is Steuben Hill Road in Herkimer. Mud and rocks just flowing down the hill. Also at the intersection of South Caroline and Mohawk in Herkimer, several cars were stuck in this area as the flood waters rose. And more from South Caroline, a couple of feet of water as homes and businesses are dealing with all of this. Now, the section of the very busy State Route 5 between Railroad Street in the town of Frankfort and Caroline Street in the village of Herkimer remains closed at this hour. And in Mohawk, this is East Main Street in front of the Mohawk Antique Mall. State Route 5S was closed for some time yesterday in Mohawk between East Main Street and South Washington Street, but that has since reopened. Also, State Route 168 in the village of Mohawk between State Routes 28 and 167 is closed this morning. And in Utica, take a look at this on the parkway right here. And here's why. We have to pay extra attention driving in heavy downpours right there. Roads can be closed and you don't even know it. Utica Police closed the Parkway and Pleasant Street between Elm and Mohawk Streets because of flooding concerns last night. So if you are out this morning, definitely be careful on the roadways. Good morning and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Libator. Meteorologist Eric Gage tracking, yes, even more rain this morning. Eric, it looks like it's not going to be as bad as last night, though, that's for sure, right?
Yeah, thankfully. We are dealing with some rain today. This might add to some water levels, but nowhere near as intense as yesterday. In fact, take a look at some water levels this morning. The latest from West Canada Creek at Hinkley Reservoir, and the water levels continue to rise, but this is as expected when we have a lot of heavy rainfall. These reservoirs are a bit delayed when it comes to the levels increasing, and plus their rates of increase are a lot slower due to the amount of water inside, obviously. But still, something else to mention is as we head into West Canada Creek at Cass Bridge, right here, 5.33 feet is the current water level. It crested already and it is falling. So this is good news along that front, is that the water is ending, and or at least the water levels are decreasing, and we are expected to see them decrease throughout the day today, despite the additional rainfall expected later on this morning. Either way, live at the radar, we're dry right now, but we turn the attention to western New York and north of Syracuse, and this is that rainfall, the eye of the storm that begins to move its way east throughout the day today. So we are tracking more rainfall today, a bit of a break tomorrow, but will there be more on the way for Friday? We'll have a full detailed look at that forecast coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks, and don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, after weeks...
Get your The Oneonta Camp is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss.
Welcome back to Sunrise to showcase just how much rain has fallen in just a very small area. Yes, a lot of locations picked up maybe over an inch and a half of rainfall, but the bullseye here was Herkimer and parts of the Mohawk Valley, picking up over 2 inches of rain in the span of a few hours. And any time you get that amount of rain in that span of time, that is what is a recipe for flooding concerns. And that was the case, unfortunately, with a lot of spots in parts of Mohawk and parts of Ilion. And again, today we're not expecting anything close to that amount of rainfall. And just to mention that exact type of rain, it's due to those slow-moving thunderstorms and downpours that just continuously fall over into the same area. That's the recipe that caused that heavy rain yesterday. But either way, showcasing our photo of the day today, it takes us into this was not updated just yet. I'm not sure why I didn't update, but this is yesterday's photo. Today's photo coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Thanks. Registration is now open for the 5th annual
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. We are continuing to track rainfall throughout the day today, especially for the morning and early afternoon. And with that, closely monitoring area roadways, creeks, and streams. In fact, here's a look at some photos submitted to us on social media. This one was taken in Herkimer by Cheryl, of seeing the washed out road of Steuben Hill Road. And this is, again, due to all that amount of rainfall we received in just a short amount of time. This second photo was sent in to us by Tina Marie, and this was of Route 5 close to German Street in Herkimer. You can see that flooded roadway. And again, a reminder, you see a road like this, don't drive over it. You don't know how deep that water is. Lastly, a video submitted to us from what was flooded Mohawk Street in Herkimer. That water since did decrease, water levels decreased, but still some other roadways this morning are closed. One of them being Route 5 north of Herkimer, and then secondly Steuben Hill Road, which is still closed at this hour due to that washout. Either way, flood watch in effect between now until later on this morning still for these counties in green here. And the risk is lowered tremendously, but still we are keeping a close eye on that rainfall. Still pretty nice shot in downtown Utica right now. We got some colors of vibrant yellow starting to peek through the low-lying clouds over there. Either way, again, today we're dealing more of that rainfall. Zooming out a little bit on the radar, Here's what's left of this quote-unquote eye of the rainstorm as it moves its way east. And we'll see rainfall continue for much of the morning and early afternoon. That rain will taper off as we head into this evening, and for much of Thursday, a little damp, but at least more dry than today. But as we head into Friday, things will change on the rainier side. So to our Skycast, rain showers roll through this morning, this afternoon. Rain does taper off a little bit by this evening. Then tonight, mostly cloudy, temperatures in the 40s. Tomorrow, it's expected to be a mainly dry day. Any rain that does fall will be more on the light and drizzly side. It's not going to be nearly as impactful as downpours we saw yesterday. Still, following Thursday, things turn more unsettled heading into Friday. A secondary round of low pressure moves in. This will bring a nice soaking rainfall yet again into our area. So you're wondering, is this the overall pattern? Is this going to continue through much of May? Well, I can give you the answer right now, and at least the good news is it's not looking to last much beyond the end of this week here, because by Mother's Day, things dry out and it warms up. We are talking summer-like conditions, early summer-like conditions by next week. Monday and Tuesday, 70s pushing 80 degrees with sunshine. I think a lot of folks have just been eagerly anticipating a stretch like that. So I'm looking forward to that. But for now, keeping a close eye on those waterways and roadways.
That's for sure. Another day ahead.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. The Genesis Group and First Source 7th, 2025.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here this morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And an awful lot of rain fell yesterday and into last night, and sometimes it came down in sheets. It was so heavy it sounded like hail on the windows at home.
Yeah, heavy rainfall in only a short amount of time, and some spots got hit a whole lot worse than others. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at some of those videos sent in to us. First off, let's take a look at Steuben Hill Road in Herkimer. Mud and rocks just flowing down the hill right there, not far from the intersection of South Caroline and Mohawk in Herkimer. Several cars were stuck in this area as floodwaters rose on some streets. A couple of feet of water quickly built up and had homes and businesses dealing with all of this. The very busy State Route 5 between Caroline and in the village of Herkimer, all the way down to Railroad Street in the town of Frankfort, remain closed.
And then not far from there in Mohawk, this is East Main Street in front of the Mohawk Antique Mall. State Route 5S was closed last night but has reopened. Also, State Route 168 in the village of Mohawk between State Route 28 and 167 remains closed this morning.
And you're going to take a look at this right here in the Parkway. This is why you have to pay extra attention in heavier downpours. Look at this car suddenly missing that barricade there. Again, yeah, the Parkway was closed between Pleasant Street and Elm Street and Mohawk Street because of the flooding concerns. We remind you this morning, if you see a water-covered roadway, to not drive through it. You don't know how deep that water is, how far the road could be washed out below it, and that's the biggest concern when it comes to flooding and heavy rain.
And another concern this morning, some more rain.
Yes, more rain's on the way. Thankfully, not nearly as heavy as yesterday, but we have to keep a very close eye on creeks and streams. In fact, look at a couple of them right now. We'll first take a look at West Canada Creek at Hinckley Reservoir. We're keeping a close eye on some of those spots in the Mohawk Valley. So the water levels currently sits at right here. At 1,225 feet, 1,226.9 feet is the official flood stage. It is still rising, expected to crest below flood stage over the next day or so. This is a little bit delayed as expected. There's a lot of rainfall in the reservoir, but with systems like this, it'll rise a little bit. Thankfully, nothing is too concerning as of now with Hinckley Reservoir. Still, though, West Canada Creek at Cass Bridge, these water levels change drastically with how narrow the river could be. And you can see here, 5.3 feet, the current water level. It crested at 5.78, and it is still falling. Now, it might rise a little bit with the rainfall today, but again, this is nothing close to what could have happened if we had even more of that heavy rainfall last night. So, good news along that front. West Canada Creek is still falling. But, as Gary mentioned, more rain is on the way. Look at the radar. We got some areas of patchy light rain initially, but we zoom out. Here's the basically the eye of the rainstorm here moving its way east, and it's dislodging some rain showers into our area over the next few hours for this morning and into the early part of this afternoon. We do dry out a little bit heading into tonight and for much of tomorrow, but there could be more rain on the way on Friday. The details on that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. Starting today.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:13. As you head out the door today, you might encounter a closed roadway depending on where you're heading, and so we'll show that in a second. First off, on the Munson Commute Cast, a look at some area roadways across the board. It's damp conditions overall, but I want to focus more on this zone right here, Route 5 between on Caroline Street and Herkimer. And we zoom in here on the traffic tracker because notice here a couple of closures, some of those triangle icons here. Let's zoom in south of Herkimer, south of German Flats. The road here from Paynes Hollow to German Flats is closed due to flooding for Route 168 both ways between Columbia Street and Route 167. Secondly, Route 5 at this hour still appears to be closed due to flooding, and that's from Railroad Street to Route 51. So in the Mohawk Valley, if you have to take it a separate route, I would take Route 5S if needed. Route 5S is back open again at this hour. Still, we are tracking more rainfall, not heavy rain, but, or I should say at least as heavy as yesterday's rain, but still the rain showers move through in the mid to late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, the rainfall tapers off. So again, watch out for some flooded roadways this morning. Conditions improve this evening with drier weather expected Thursday, but there could be more on the way on Friday. The details in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. In his Oval Office meeting with the newly...
Others spoil your day. Watch for the Storm Tracker 2 Commute Cast and be ready for your drive to and from work. The Storm Tracker 2 Commute Cast is brought to you by the Pratt Munson College of Art and Design. Visit Pratt Munson today and ignite curiosity and creativity.
Omni, cutting-edge surgery without the cutting.
The Oneonta Cam is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. We continue to track some rain showers throughout the day today, and the rain will taper off by this evening, but still we have to keep a very close eye on area waterways and roadways. In fact, take a look at what was submitted to us on social media yesterday and including some parts this morning. This was taken in Herkimer from Cheryl on Steuben Hill Road in Herkimer. And something else to mention too as well is there are some other photos submitted of some other roadways and whatnot. Look at that right here. So again, here is the submission taken by Cheryl. Another photo submitted to us was of Route 5 near German Street in Herkimer. Same story, flooded roadway, heads up, never drive through something like this. The road could be washed out below it. You don't know how deep the water is, and that's where the biggest danger from flooding comes from. Lastly, there's a video submitted to us from Dixie, and you can see here which was flooded Mohawk Street in Herkimer since has lowered, water levels have lowered. Either way, flood watch still in effect for Lewis, Oneida, and Madison counties early this morning. The flood concerns are lowered. Still, we have some rain expected as we head into the next few hours. You can see it right here in the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Here's that eye of the system moving its way east throughout the day today. It's going to dislodge a few scattered rain showers into our area. So rainfall chances early today are at its highest. The rain will decrease throughout the mid to late afternoon. And then by Thursday, it starts out with just damp conditions, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a light sprinkle before more rain arrives as we approach Friday. When it comes to rainfall, again, today, not a whole lot of accumulation of rain expected. The biggest increase as we head into Friday. You can see this right here. Most locations pick up another inch of rain heading into early Saturday morning. So we've got another soaking rainfall moving in. We'll show that in a second. For now, close term forecast today. On and off rain, tapering off by the evening. Cloudy skies tonight, lows in the 40s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, areas of patchy drizzle, but otherwise a mainly dry day. Then by Thursday night into Friday, that widespread rain moves back in again from a separate system, which will continue throughout the day Friday and into Friday evening. So when it comes to rainfall this week, the good news is it does end by, hopefully, the middle and end of the weekend. Mother's Day looking sunny, 60s, 70s by next week, pushing 80 with sunny skies. So maybe we're out of this rainy pattern. We'll see how next week shapes up.
Yeah, maybe an entirely dry weekend possibly, huh?
First time in quite a while.
Yeah.
We'll see how that happens.
That's for sure. Eric, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook. And taking a look at your top stories this morning, this is Steuben Hill Road in Herkimer. Check this out right here. Mud and rocks just flowing down the hill. And over in the intersection of South Caroline and Mohawk, several cars were stuck. More from South Caroline right here. A couple of feet of water surrounding businesses and homes. The section of the very busy State Route 5, also between Railroad Street and the town of Frankfort and Caroline Street, all the way over in the village of Herkimer, remains closed at this hour for your morning commute. And in Mohawk, this is East Main Street in front of the Mohawk Antique Mall. State Route 5S was closed for some time yesterday in Mohawk between East Main and South Washington, but has since reopened. Also, State Route 168 in the village of Mohawk between State Routes 28 and 167 is closed this morning. And in Utica, take a look at this along the parkway here. And right here, well, this is why we have to pay extra attention driving in heavy downpours. You never know when a road might be closed. Utica police closed the parkway and Pleasant Street between Elm and Mohawk because of flooding concerns. So if you are out this morning, definitely be careful, as there are a number of roadways still closed and plenty of water all around the area. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Libitor. Meteorologist Eric Gage is over in the Weather Center tracking, yes, even a bit more rain this morning. Eric, though, luckily, nothing like last night, right?
Yes, that's the good news. We have more rain arriving, but compared to the heaviness and sustained heavy rain yesterday, nothing of that sort. Let's take a look at some area waterways, because that's our main focus this morning, is that making sure that we have no flooding concerns. And the good news is West Canada Creek at Hinckley Reservoir, these are the latest numbers right next to me right now. Something I mentioned too, the water level is rising still, but this is as expected. It's a reservoir, it's a lot of water, and a lot of stuff drains into it. So it's going to slowly increase over the next day or so. Nothing near or approaching actual flood stage, but it is expected to crest to below flood stage in the next, again, day or so. Secondly, we head down West Canada Creek to Cass Bridge. That's something that will be changing drastically with heavier rainfall. It crested at 5.78 feet last night. It is still falling. It was 5.33 feet an hour ago. It's now down to 5.12 feet. Either way, it's going to continue to decrease throughout the next 24 hours, maybe slowly lowering or slowly reducing decreased rates based off of that rain we're going to see over the next couple of hours. You can see it right here on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, that low pressure system slowly moving its way east, and we are tracking a gradual drying up of the forecast for tonight into tomorrow, but there's more rain on the way Friday. Of the details on the amount expected and the timing coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Thanks. A lot of folks cleaning up this morning, probably their basements, especially in Herkimer County. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast, never more than 10 minutes away. Well, after
News Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli.
The Oneonta Camp is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss.
Welcome back to Sunrise. We are showcasing the amount of rainfall we've received over the past 24 hours. Something to note here, there's one number that stands above all else here on this list, and that is Herkimer, for obvious reasons, with the 2.2 inches of rain in the span of 24 hours, and some of that even only in the span of a few hours. That's a recipe for causing flooding concerns. There's two main ingredients for flood issues: sustained rain over several days, or a bunch of rain happening all at once in the span of a few hours. And that's the case here in Herkimer, where 2.2 inches fell. Other spots still over an inch, but again, the bullseye of this event was in parts of Herkimer County, which is why flooding took place in some of those areas as well. So aside from that, we are expecting more rainfall today, but the totals will not be nearly as high as yesterday's heavy downpours. Either way, we'll showcase on the lighter side of things our photo of the day. This is a photo of some tulips, some vibrant tulips taken in Lee. Shout out to Lee this morning. And again, we are still in tulip season. We'll see how long that lasts. Again, the rainfall is helping some of the growth, but we should start to see some sunshine as early as this weekend. We'll have a detailed look at that forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Boy, I don't know if you've seen the tulips over at Consumer Square in New Hartford.
Oh, they are gorgeous. Yes, I've driven by them too, and the blossoms. I believe the cherry blossoms on the trees too were just absolutely breathtaking.
They have to do the best landscaping at Consumer Square.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah,
that's for sure. Well, registration is now open.
Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
This morning we are tracking some rain showers rolling through our area in the next couple of hours. Still though, we want to share with you guys some photos and videos submitted to us from across the area yesterday evening. A look first off on Steuben Hill Road in Herkimer. This was of a washout from Cheryl, and you can see just the brute force some of this rainfall and the amount of rain that fell in that short span of time. Secondly was a photo submitted to us from Tina on Route 5 near German Street, which, by the way, Route 5 is back open at this time. It was closed for much of this morning. Still, you can see here, water over the roadway. This is a reminder, when you see a roadway like this, do not drive through it. I know sometimes you see this and you think, oh, maybe it's about an inch or two below, or a road is an inch or two below the water. Sometimes the road washes out in situations like this, and you can't see the fact there could be 6-7 feet of abyss below this. So just to play it safe, if you see a roadway like this, just turn around, don't risk it. Lastly, this is a video submitted to us of Mohawk Street in Herkimer yesterday, which has since floodwaters have decreased, and the road is, of course, back open at this hour. But either way, again, flood watches have been expired for Oneida and Madison County. Earlier this morning, it was still in effect. We are still tracking more rainfall, but this is not going to be nearly as impactful as yesterday. So live in Utica right now, roadways a little damp as that rain continues to move through parts of the Mohawk Valley, and eventually more of that heavier rainfall arriving from the west later on today. This is this area of rotation, basically the eye of the storm, moving its way east throughout the day today. So we are tracking this rainfall this morning. It gradually weakens and dries up throughout this evening, but more rain though arrives as we head into Friday and into Friday night. When it comes to rainfall totals today, not a whole lot of rain, but this number changes as we look ahead to Friday. You can see here approaching an inch more of rain, some spots, 1.5 inches. So just a heads up that we still have more of a soaking rain on the way later on this week. So today, nuisance rain does taper off by this evening. Tonight, looking mainly dry. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. There's still a chance of a patchy light rain shower or light drizzle, but compared to the past few days, this will be our driest day of the next, I would say, even 5 days. Then, of course, more rain arrives again Friday into Friday afternoon and Friday night. But as we head into the weekend, things are trending on the drier side. Saturday, sunshine moves in for Sunday, for Mother's Day as well, and then warming up into the upper 70s by next week. We'll be right back.
News with Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. A lot of folks in our area cleaning up right at this hour.
Yeah, that's right. We are dealing with the remnants of that flood water, washed out roadways and whatnot, and of course all that cleanup taking place as we speak.
It is our top story. Let's take a look at some of the video from this morning right now. Herkimer DPW Superintendent Justin Chrisman tells us DPW crews started the cleanup efforts early this morning. This is West German Street. Crews are also out pumping out sewers to get the silt and mud out of the sewer system so they can drain better. Chrisman says there will be temporary detours and street closures while they work, and are asking residents to try and avoid any intersections where you see crews working. Also, work is being done on Steuben Hill Road, where the shoulders are being rebuilt right there. And some homes around West German Street have big ponds of water in their yards. Both village crews and fire department crews are cleaning sidewalks and streets of mud. And Eric, I know you were over in Mohawk.
Yeah, that's right. And this is what Mohawk Street in Herkimer looked like last night. Homes and businesses inundated with water. We did have a crew in Herkimer as well. And again, as you just saw previously, and with the remnants of that floodwater there, still plenty of washed out roads. Now, cleanup is underway in Mohawk right now. Warren Road in Mohawk was closed earlier on. We can take a look at this right here. This was taken earlier this morning. Again, some minor road closures due to that cleanup. Others, like Main Street in Herkimer, or in Mohawk, remained open while mud and debris lay in parts of the roadway. Crews were out all over the village. Rainfall totals officially tallied in the New York State Mesonet weather station in Herkimer at 2.2 inches in a 24-hour span. So it's definitely something that is a recipe for what we just saw here across the area.
And I know you were out there, a lot of crews out on the streets right now. Definitely take your time if you're out anywhere near there.
Yes, and of course, watch out for the sudden road closures. That was one thing to mention to you as well, because they're going street by street and cleaning things up. But again, when it comes to current conditions right now, the rainfall has ended for much of the area, but still some nuisance, drizzle, and even in some cases here, patchy fog over parts of the area right now. Temperatures in the 50s, the radar indicating that on and off subtle rainfall right here, but much of that heaviest of rain has ended. So the silver lining in this is that those of you who are worried about flooding concerns, we're not tracking anything notable when it comes to rainfall until the very earliest of late tomorrow night into early Friday. So a bit of a window here of a quiet stretch. Again, 50s right now, it's in the 60s, pushing 70 down in parts of western New York. So there's some warmer temperatures out there, but here locally, still in that slightly cool but somewhat damp pattern. Now again, as I mentioned, more rain is on the way as we head into Friday, but will this weekend fare the same way? The latest details on that weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. At the Vatican, 133.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Rain continues to wind down today after very heavy rain yesterday and still some stubborn rain this morning. Downtown Utica, a live view. We got some low-lying clouds in play here, which is why our tower cam is showing that foggy sky early this afternoon. The current temperature in Utica or the Utica-Rome area sits at 55 degrees with a west wind of 13 miles an hour. So it's a breezy one out there. But again, things are starting to dry out, but dry out being relative. Maybe if you count dry being with drizzle and cloudy skies, and this is your cup of tea here. Either way, as we zoom out a little bit, the rainfall is pretty much exiting to our east. We could see a few very minor breaks in the cloud cover today, but at least for the near future, clouds remain persistent. Rainfall again, maybe a straight shower, light to moderate if that today. We dry out. It remains dry for the overnight into much of Thursday with another chance of some stubborn drizzle. Before Friday, we see our next arrival of widespread rain. So again, near future, still looking a little damp. When it comes to rainfall today, again, not a whole lot of additional rainfall accumulation. Heading into Friday, that's when we could see potentially 3/4 of an inch, some spots 1.5 inches of that additional rain. But still, as we head in the next few days, we'll closely monitor some of these streams, creeks, and rivers, as most of them are lowering in the amount of water, but still, it's something to keep a close eye on. So as we head into this afternoon, temperatures remain in the 50s. We cool down tonight into the 40s with mostly cloudy skies. Your Thursday, starts out with overcast skies, maybe a passing light rain shower, if that. Then by Thursday evening and Thursday night, well after sunset, widespread rain moves in. This sets the stage for a pretty rainy Friday, turning into moderate rainfall Friday afternoon and Friday evening. But here's the silver lining here. Look at this weekend forecast. I know this might seem like this is a fantasy with how rainy these past Saturdays have been and how rainy the past Sundays have been. But you can see here, rain ends Saturday, Mother's Day, sunny, high of 68. And that continues through the start of next week. Monday and Tuesday, summer-like conditions, upper 70s, sunshine, increasing clouds on Tuesday. We could be seeing some more rain chances by Wednesday and Thursday of next week, but at least for now, we have maybe 2, 3, 4 days of dry weather. Any stretch of over a day of dry weather, we'll take it here in central New York. I know a lot of places definitely need it after all this excessive rainfall we saw yesterday.
Lawns are definitely green as they ever have been.
And once the sun starts shining, they're going to grow even more.
Eric, thanks. Well, another U.S. fighter jet. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this half hour, recapping our top story today. A lot of folks here in our area are cleaning up at this hour after very heavy rain came down yesterday, then last night, then overnight. One of the hardest hit areas is Herkimer. Herkimer DPW Superintendent Justin Chrisman tells us that DPW crews started the cleanup efforts early this morning. Crews are out pumping out sewers to get the silt and mud out of the sewer system so they can drain better. Chrisman says there will be temporary detours and street closures while they work, and are asking residents to try to avoid any intersections where you do see crews working. Also, work is being done on Steuben Hill Road where the shoulders are being rebuilt, and as you can see right there, homes are filled with water in their yards. Both village crews and fire department crews are cleaning up the sidewalks and streets of the mud. And we do have a crew out in Herkimer County, and we'll have much more on the flood cleanup for you tonight at 5 and 6. And meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, you were over in Mohawk this morning, and this is the scene there. A lot of crews out there as well.
Yeah, cleanup across the board. Thankfully, the flood concern here, or at least the remnants of the washed out roadways, was not nearly as bad as, say, Herkimer. But still, you can see the washed out roadway right here on Main Street heading into Route 5. And a look at what's going on right now. Again, dry conditions, thankfully, because again, some of the residents I did speak to in Mohawk said that their basements had some serious flood issues from that heavy rain that arrived yesterday. And of course, our tower cam right now shows clouds, drizzle. We're in the midst of this damp afternoon, so although there still could be rain showers falling from the sky, it's not really expected to be that impactful with just some of these rain showers producing light drizzle and sprinkles, if that. You can see it right here in the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Nothing major here on the radar scans, all that pretty much outside of our area for now. But again, temperatures in the 50s. It's a mild and damp day today, and we are tracking more rainfall heading into Friday. But will there be a dry stretch beyond that? More details coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Oman said today.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Pretty interesting sight you saw right there. Our tower is literally in the clouds right now as the low-lying clouds pass over us, as well as drizzle and light rain. Downtown Utica, below that cloud layer, you can see, of course, same story. Damp conditions out there early this afternoon. It is not a complete washout, or at least heavy downpours like yesterday, but that nuisance rain is going to stick around for a little bit. Temperature of 55 degrees at Griffiths and Rome with a west wind of 13 miles an hour. A little breezy out there, and again, still dealing with these nuisance rain showers. We zoom out a little bit. Here's that center of low pressure. It was out to our west earlier this morning off of Lake Ontario. It is now moving its way east into Vermont. And the back side of this will drag with it a few more chances for light rain this evening, but the worst of the rainfall is done. If you're wondering about any flooding concerns, I know some of you dealt with a pretty significant amount of rain yesterday. That's ending, at least for the moment. It dries out tonight, mostly cloudy tomorrow with some patchy on and off drizzle. Rain does return again on Friday. We'll look at that rain total in a second, but still, it is going to be a damp one, at least for the next couple of days. Here's our rain today. Here's the rain that arrives on Friday. Notice here, some spots picking up nearly an inch or more of rainfall, some spots inch and a half, pushing inch and 3/4, but that's the outlier here. Either way, we're going to see another soaking rain heading into Friday, throughout the day, into Friday evening and Friday night. But when it comes to our SkyCast, at least the good news is in the short term that sustained heavy rain is out of the forecast for at least today through tomorrow. Here comes maybe some patchy drizzle tomorrow morning into early tomorrow afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 50s. Friday morning, throughout Friday afternoon, here's that widespread rain, and it lingers for pretty much the entire day. Good soaking rain, which continues into the late evening and early overnight. So by Saturday morning, there will still be lingering rain showers, but the difference is, for the first time in quite a while, that rain is likely to end by the afternoon and into the evening with some sunshine. Yes, Saturday sunshine moving in. On top of that, even better news, Mother's Day is looking even more dry with sun and highs in the upper 60s. So this might be the nicest forecast we've had for a weekend since I would say before October of last year with the warmth and the sunshine. Either way, your 7-day forecast, it warms up even more Monday and Tuesday of next week. Temperatures in the 70s with sunshine on Monday, clouds increase on Tuesday with more rain chances in the middle of next week. But if we can get more than, as I mentioned before, 1 or 2 days of dry weather in a row, that's as much as we can ask for. And of course, finally have time for the lawns to dry out. Some folks probably are desperately waiting for that dry window to mow their lawns.
Yeah, everybody's lawns are long.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. Russian
News with Kristen Copeland and Jason Palace.
Many local communities were in cleanup mode today after more rain than their aging infrastructures could handle fell fast and furious Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, at the same time they're cleaning up, they're also preparing for the next event. News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris has your top story.
Things got ugly quickly in Herkimer Tuesday afternoon. The rain fell fast and furious. The Herkimer Village DPW called it quits around 10 o'clock last night and was back at it around 5:30 this morning.
A couple inches in an hour is a lot. We just don't have the system to handle that all at once. They wash a lot of gravel down in pipes.
Gravel, rocks, branches, and other debris packed solid into pipes overflowing from the sewer hole. Time to suck it up.
It's just sucking all the debris up to then let us, there's another machine down there called a jet machine that's got high pressure water that pulls, you start at the bottom and pull all the gravel down back to that machine through the pipes.
This homeowner put up a wall, and last night and today it did its job, diverting the water from the hill down the driveway and away from the house. Town and village DPW and highway crews also spent the day widening culverts because it's not only about cleanup, it's about being ready for the next round.
Cleanup wise, street wise is not terrible. It's getting everything dug back to set up for the next event.
The head of the village DPW says they're looking at a few more 12-hour days to get everything cleared out and cleaned up. Back to you.
Jolene, thank you. Cleanup continues in nearby Mohawk as well. This is a look at Warren Road this morning. Crews all over the village cleaning up mud and other debris from the streets. Mohawk saw 2.2 inches of rain in a 24-hour period.
And we have a traffic alert to pass along, and Oriskany River Street is closed between County Road 32 and Route 69 because of the flooding. This is a known trouble spot because the Mohawk River overflows its banks, flooding the roadway. The roadway has been closed for about 10 hours. We will keep you updated.
And the rain kept coming down this morning. Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Feels like it's never going to end, but it will. It will. Let's take a look at how much has fallen so far. This is just the last 2 days. More than 2 inches of rainfall in Camden as well as Herkimer, Woodgate, Westboro, and Brookfield picking up more than an inch of rain. For many of us, it's been a very wet stretch of weather since the beginning of May. So it's been about a week of this weather pattern, and we've got a few more days ahead, but there is an end in sight. By the weekend, things are going to start to change. Showers out there this evening, dreary, some patchy fog. The rain is not all that heavy, so I'm not expecting this to cause any flooding issues. It's a cool day, 57 degrees. Again, dreary out there this evening. Showers, patchy fog, especially along higher elevations. We have another stretch of weather tomorrow, and Friday we'll be dealing with rain, but things will change as we head into Mother's Day weekend. Going to look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
A Herkimer woman was violently.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Dreary conditions across central New York as low pressure is just sitting over us. Let's take a look outside. This is what we call the quad cam, and we've got the WKTV studio, the view from the WKTV studio, Nexus camera, Cooperstown, Oneonta, and it pretty much all looks the same. Cloudy skies, showers. This is going to look a little bit different tomorrow, but it looks like our best chance of seeing changes in the weather will be for the weekend. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Scattered light rain showers. Keep the umbrella handy. The rain is not heavy. We're not expecting flooding or any significant issues with this rain. It'll stay on the lighter side heading into tonight. Patchy fog, on the other hand, will be a problem, especially in higher elevations. Just be careful if you're going to be driving this evening. Reminder, download our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. You have a way to get instant alerts to your phone, even when heavy rain is near your area, along with lightning strikes. Rain chances tomorrow, just a few isolated showers. The rain becomes widespread Friday. It's not until the weekend that we see changes ahead. And once those changes start, it looks like we're going to be running in a very different direction weather-wise. The weather patterns look to completely change as we head into the weekend and early next week. In fact, we get into more of a summertime pattern where temperatures will be above average. And in the middle of May, above average temperatures tend to be in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. So the overall outlook once we get through this wet weather is heading towards early summer, at least for now. If you do have to cut the lawn, I know it's growing a lot. The next couple of days will be tough. We're going to have to be patient here. It's not until late Saturday that conditions will start to favor drier weather. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Temperatures this evening in the 50s. Little Falls 59, West Berlin 56. Cloudy skies, showers 58 in Cooperstown, 55 in Oneonta. Low pressure continues to drive our weather. This is going to weaken and head to the east, but the next one arrives as we head into Friday. Cloudy skies tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the 40s. We start out Thursday morning with a brief shower. Most of Thursday looks dry, a hit or miss shower in the afternoon. Temperatures climb into the upper 50s. Rain returns as we head into tomorrow night. It becomes widespread Friday. Temperatures on Friday stay in the 50s. Tonight, passing shower, low 47. Tomorrow, a few scattered showers, 58. There is light at the end of the tunnel. As we head into the weekend, we start out Saturday gloomy, but in the afternoon, sunshine comes out. Mother's Day looks nice. Wow. Sunshine, temperatures near 70. And then we make a run towards 80 degrees heading into early next week.
All right, Bill, thank you. Loving that news.
Yeah, summer weather, right? Well, the Herkimer County Envirothon was...
Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Beautiful sunrise took place earlier this morning, captured by Chuck Zemanowski on Babcock Hill Road. Beautiful shot there. Nice to see the sunshine, even if it's for just a couple of moments, because it doesn't seem like we get much of it lately. We do have some changes in the weather pattern ahead. Temperatures are expected to climb into the 70s by the weekend. Specifically, Sunday is going to be the day where we break out of this weather pattern. And we'll finally get some sunshine and warmer temperatures ahead. But we do have a few more days of rain. Out there this evening, drizzle, patchy fog, just dreary conditions. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Showers will continue. Temperatures remain in the 50s. If you are taking the dog out for a walk, probably make it a shorter walk. Tonight's featured dog, Chief from Ilion. This is brought to you by Nissan. Back over to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. Edwards Ambulance.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Just dreary conditions continue across central New York. Cloudy skies. I just wanted to make a mention of, you just saw the tower cam, the fog. It's pretty thick here on Smith Hill. Higher elevations, it's going to be a concern. It's going to be an issue if you're going to be driving. Just keep that in mind. Temperature of 57 degrees. Some showers will continue into this evening as well as tonight. Now, I wanted to look ahead to the weekend. Mother's Day weekend is upon us. Looks like it's going to start out wet, kind of gloomy Saturday, 65 degrees. But Saturday is a transition day. We'll see cloudy skies in the morning, but I think we'll get some sunshine by the afternoon. Sunday is the day where it really gets nice. Expecting lots of sunshine, warm weather, very spring-like for a change. High temperature of 70 degrees, so it looks like a beautiful finish to the weekend. And I don't need to remind some of you that Mother's Day isn't always guaranteed to have nice weather. We've had snow on Mother's Day several times in years past. You don't even have to go that far into the past as well. With that in mind, too, as you're getting into the growing season, as you're thinking about planting, this is just a reminder that we do want to hold off a little bit longer. We're typically seeing the last frost in the middle of May for the Mohawk Valley, and typically late May for the higher elevations and some of the colder pockets. Could be as late as early June for those of you living in the Adirondacks. Again, those are the averages. Every year it varies. But again, we like going by the averages to keep you, at least keep those plants safe, so you don't have to worry about bringing them inside or covering them up. Showers out there this evening, drizzle, patchy fog, just a gloomy day. It's a live look at the Airfield Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Cloudy skies tomorrow, an isolated shower. Widespread rain is expected Friday. And again, it's expected to linger into Saturday morning before things start to change. Skywatchers checking in. Temperatures near 60 degrees, 61 in Whitesboro, Mikey New Hartford 59, Barneveld 58, Norway 56, Alder Creek 59, West Exeter 57, and Skidivas checking in with 59. Low pressure sitting overhead, continuing to produce clouds and showers. This is around tonight. A few lingering showers expected overnight. Lows drop down into the 40s. Cloudy skies throughout tomorrow. I think it's drier than today, but again, I can't completely rule out a passing shower. High temperatures in the mid-50s. Widespread rain returns Friday as another area of low pressure rolls in. Rain is steady and widespread throughout Friday afternoon, with high temperatures in the mid-50s. Tonight, a passing shower, low of 47. Tomorrow, a few lingering showers, temperatures in the upper 50s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Once the weather pattern breaks over the weekend, it looks like the nice weather is here to stay. Sunshine Monday, Tuesday, and it warms up. We're close to 80 degrees as we head into early next week, with the next chance of rain showers on Wednesday. We'll be right back.
More than 10 hours now, a road in Oriskany has been closed because of flooding. Talking about River Street.
Yeah, the area is known as a trouble spot. When there's heavy rain, the Mohawk River overflows its banks, flooding the roadway. It's your top story tonight, all closed. It started around 7:30 this morning, and it's between County Road 32 and Route 69 above the Erie Canal. The road is closed in both directions. We did just check in with officials, still closed at this hour. As soon as it reopens, we'll let you know.
The worst of the rain fell quickly, but the cleanup will last for days in Herkimer. Our crew caught up with the DPW and highway crews in the town and village today. Here's News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris.
Water rose as quickly as the rain fell in Herkimer Tuesday afternoon. Streets were almost instantly submerged. The force of all that water packed sewer pipes with gravel, branches, and all kinds of debris poured in through the street gutters.
A couple inches in an hour is a lot. We just don't have the system to handle that all at once. They washed a lot of gravel down in pipes.
The village DPW called it quits around 10 o'clock last night and was back at it around 5:30 this morning with the industrial strength equivalent of a shop vac.
It's just sucking all the debris up to then there's another machine down there called a jet machine that's got high pressure water that pulls, You start at the bottom and pull all the gravel down back to that machine through the pipes.
Village and town DPW and highway crews were also out opening culverts because it's not just about cleaning up after this time, it's about getting ready for next time.
Cleanup wise, street wise is not terrible. It's getting everything dug back to set up for the next event.
The head of the Village DPW says they're looking at a few more 12-hour days to get everything cleared out and cleaned up. Back to you.
Jolene, thank you. Cleanup continued in Mohawk as well. This is Warren Street this morning. Had to be closed while crews moved the mud and other debris from the street. Mohawk says 2.2 inches of rain in a 24-hour period caused a lot of damage.
Let's get you over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis for a first look at the forecast.
And we're not done with the rain yet. The good news is I think we are done with the flooding issues, at least for now. The rain is going to be pretty light tomorrow. Let's take a look at what's been falling. This is just the past 2 days. 2.35 inches in Camden, Herkimer, 2¼ inches. Most of us picked up at least 1.5 inches of rainfall. It did fall a little bit later in parts of the Adirondacks. Scattered showers, drizzle, patchy fog this evening. Dreary conditions will continue at least for the next couple of days. Current temperature 57 degrees. We'll stay in the 50s this evening. Patchy fog. There is an end in sight. Finally, some good news. We really do need to dry out. I'll let you know when that happens. Look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. A Herkimer woman was violent.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back. We are tracking scattered showers and patchy fog along with some drizzle here. Live looking downtown Utica, 57 degrees. It's been raining for a good portion of the day along with some late drizzle. And you can see from our tower cam right after the commercial break, we have fog here on Smith Hill. So just keep that in mind. If you're traveling to a higher elevation, the fog is going to be around in spots. Drizzle continues. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The good news is that the precipitation is light and is not causing any flooding issues this evening. And I think that will be the case tomorrow as well, where the precipitation will be on the lighter side. Unfortunately, we still have rain around, which means it's going to be hard to cut the lawn. But there is an end in sight. It looks like maybe late Saturday you can get your lawn cut. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Also a reminder, as busy as it got yesterday with all the flash flooding alerts, you can get weather alerts instantly to your phone by downloading the Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Once this weather pattern breaks, it looks like it is going to go in a very different direction for an extended period of time. We're going to go from cool, cloudy, wet weather to an early taste of summer. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, and everything that I've been watching here over the past couple of days does point to a very warm middle to late May. That would mean temperatures in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees in the extended outlook. We'll see how long this lasts. Clinton, 56 degrees. Mike in New Hartford, 59. Barneveld, 58. Curtis, 54. Jeff and Mohawk, 57. And Worcester, Carroll with 57 degrees. A gloomy day today. We've got low pressure just sitting right over us. This is going to hang around into tomorrow, but it does weaken. So looking at general clouds tonight, passing shower, patchy fog, overnight lows drop into the 40s. Most of tomorrow looks dry, but I just don't think we're going to shake those clouds. I think they're going to be very stubborn throughout the day. Temperatures climb into the mid-50s. The next wave of low pressure works in for tomorrow night. We're looking at widespread steady rain on Friday. Right now, it looks like the heaviest rain is going to be to the south and east, but it's really close. So we're keeping an eye on this because obviously with all the rain we've been getting, the flooding that has happened yesterday, we're going to stay vigilant with this. We're going to keep a very close eye on rainfall numbers at this point. Nothing concerning or nothing to be alarmed about just yet. But again, it is something we'll be watching here as we get closer. A passing shower tonight, low 47. Tomorrow, lingering shower, 58 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Rain on Friday, 55 degrees. Saturday morning, showers. So we do start the weekend with some wet weather, but Saturday afternoon, I think the sun comes out, and on Sunday it looks beautiful. We break out of this weather pattern. Warm temperatures, dare I say, feeling like early summer.
Don't you
early next
dare,
week.
because we love that.
Highs in the upper 70s.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Bill. Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6 now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Yeah, we're watching the next round of rain.
Excessive rainfall.
Yeah, I think the worst of this is going to be to our south and east. This is for tomorrow night and Friday, but it's pretty close. So we've got to be watching this across the area. We're not going to be getting an alert day just yet unless that band moves to the north and west. Then things might change. But again, at this point, we're just keeping an eye on things here across the region. Of course, it's been super soggy. You don't need me to tell you that. Any additional rain is obviously just going to run right off into the rivers and streams. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Some patchy drizzle, patchy fog out there this evening. Temperature-wise, 55 degrees. At least we are drying out somewhat this evening. And tonight, we're not expecting more than just a passing shower. A couple of cool days ahead, widespread rain on Friday. We're looking at temperatures rebounding into the weekend. And in fact, you see the big change on the horizon. We're expecting much warmer and dry weather ahead. But again, we do have to get through the next couple of days. A couple of showers out there this evening, temperatures in the upper 40s. We're tracking that next round of rain for Friday. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look at downtown Utica. It's been a soggy stretch of weather here. Temperatures are in the mid-50s. We will cool down into the 40s tonight as colder air builds in from the northwest. Not much to show you here on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. This is coming down as some drizzle. And again, it's just going to stay very damp tonight with clouds that are going to linger around into tomorrow. It's going to be a tough stretch to cut the lawn. I know the lawn has been growing like crazy, and I know a lot of people are chomping at the bit to get the lawn mowed. But again, next couple of days, still not looking great. If you're lucky enough to get enough dry weather tomorrow, you might be able to get a cut in, but it's just been so wet. It's going to take a little time for the grass to dry out. I think your opportunities begin Saturday and get better as we head into the weekend. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Just a reminder, you can get weather alerts on your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. The weather pattern looks to finally change in a very dramatic way. This pattern is going to rearrange itself. It's been cloudy, cool, and wet for the past several days, almost past week. But this weather pattern, the jet stream is going to lift to the north. We're going to get into a warming trend and a dry trend. And the 1 to 2 week outlook keeps us above average temperature-wise, which will be in the upper 70s for the most part. So it does look like, again, warmer weather on the way. Once it gets here, it looks like it's going to be sticking around. We'll see. Bigger picture shows, again, area low pressure just sitting right over central New York. It's going to be lingering around tomorrow. It weakens, so it's cloudy. And again, a passing shower is possible. Temperatures drop down into the 40s tonight. We'll see high temperatures tomorrow in the mid to upper 50s. Cloudy skies, again, small chance of a shower, not a big deal. Rain becomes widespread tomorrow night and into Friday. Friday looks like a washout. High temperatures climb into the mid-50s. Rainfall amounts tomorrow night into Friday. Think about another inch of accumulation is possible, but notice the oranges to our east. That's where some of the heavy rain is expected to fall. And we're kind of on the edge of this, so again, we'll be keeping an eye on this over the next 24 hours. Passing shower tonight, low 47. Tomorrow, a sprinkle or two, cloudy skies, 58. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Widespread rain Friday, 55. That lingers into early Saturday morning. Then we get a chance to dry out, 65 for the high. 70 on Mother's Day, sunny skies. Beautiful weather early next week with highs close to 80 degrees. We'll be right back.
Now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Worried about excessive rainfall a little bit, and that's tomorrow night into Friday, right?
Yeah, tomorrow night we got this area of low pressure coming in. It looks like the southeastern part of New York State is going to be getting the heaviest rain here, but we're kind of on the fringe of this. However, this is pretty close. If this ends up going to the north and west, we could get into some more problems. For now, we're just watching this. We don't have an alert day for Friday, but again, we are just keeping an eye on the trends here because, again, if that ends up moving closer, it could cause some problems. Obviously, it's been very wet lately, and any additional rain is going to just run right off into streams. The ground's very saturated, so it wouldn't take much to instigate flooding across our area. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Well, at least the radar is pretty quiet this evening. We've been getting some patchy drizzle, patchy fog. It's cloudy, but again, we're not expecting too much in the way of rain tonight. Can't rule out a passing shower, though. A few passing showers tomorrow, a steadier rain tomorrow night into Friday, and then the weather will start to warm up as we head into early next week. That's when big changes will start to take place. Again, temperatures drop into the 40s tonight with a passing shower. We are tracking an end in sight to all this rain. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New tonight.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. Showers have been around today, and they have just lingered around. I think we're going to see more of the same tomorrow, although tomorrow we will have more drier periods compared to the past couple of days. Current temperature in Utica, 54 degrees. Pretty quiet on the radar, although it's just very soggy outside and damp, and we've got some patchy fog in some of the higher elevations. But in terms of any rainfall, there's really not much to show you here this evening. I think the radar is going to look a lot like that for most of tomorrow. But again, it's going to be tough to just dry out. We've got another round of rain arriving tomorrow night. So if you're trying to get the lawn cut, it's just a tough pattern to do this. We start to dry out late Saturday, and I think that might even be pushing it. It's probably a better bet Sunday, better yet early next week if you can hold out. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, and again, things will look better. You'll have better chances to cut the lawn early next week. By the way, you can get weather alerts by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. This pattern is eventually going to break, and when it does, it looks like it's going to break in a big way. I think we're going to get into a warmer weather pattern. The long-range outlook brings temperatures above average for central New York, along with the eastern half of the country. So, again, better news if you don't like the cool, cloudy, wet weather. Things do look to change, and it's not just going to change for a day or two. This will at least give us several days of warm weather. How long it lasts is still up in the air. Bigger picture shows large area of low pressure just sitting, spinning, just bringing us plenty of clouds and just unsettled weather. Tomorrow, it's more of the same. Cloudy skies, passing shower. It's not going to rain very long. Temperatures climb into the mid-50s. Tomorrow night, widespread rain rolls in from the south. It's a washout on Friday. Widespread rain throughout Friday. Temperatures climb into the 50s. The rainfall amounts Friday, tomorrow night into Friday, look to be about a half an inch to an inch of rainfall, especially south and east of Utica. You can see some of these oranges out towards Albany. That's over an inch of rain. So we're right on the edge of this. We'll have to keep an eye on it. If that ends up moving west, our flooding chances will increase. Passing shower tonight, low 47. Tomorrow, passing shower. Most of the day looks dry, 58 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weather improves, and it starts Saturday. Showers in the morning, dry weather in the afternoon. Sunday looks sunny, high of 70. And the weather next week looks nice. Temperatures in the upper 70s Monday and Tuesday. And it will stay that way. Highs in the low 70s on Wednesday.